What are some famous cannibalism cases? When we think about cannibalism, it often brings up strong feelings and moral questions. Throughout history, there have been several notable cases that highlight the complexity of this topic. Let's take a closer look at some of these famous instances, keeping in mind the ethical debates surrounding them. First, we have the Donner Party, a group of American pioneers who got trapped in the Sierra Nevada mountains during the winter of 1846. Facing starvation, some members resorted to eating the bodies of those who had died. This situation raises tough questions about survival and moral judgment. Some survivors chose not to partake and faced tragic consequences, showing how moral choices can vary even in desperate times. Next is Alferd Packer, an American prospector from 1874. After getting lost in the Colorado mountains, he claimed he ate the flesh of his deceased companions to survive. His story is filled with controversy, as there are conflicting accounts about whether his actions were purely for survival or involved violence. Packer was convicted of manslaughter, reflecting society's strong condemnation of cannibalism, even in extreme situations. Another case is the Siege of Sancerre, which took place in France from 1570 to 1573. During this siege, starvation led some inhabitants to cannibalism, including the consumption of a child's body. This event illustrates how extreme famine can push people to commit acts that are typically seen as morally unacceptable but may be viewed differently in the context of survival. The marooned crew of the Méduse in 1816 faced a similar fate after a shipwreck. Survivors stranded on a raft resorted to cannibalism to stay alive. This tragic event is often discussed in ethical debates about human behavior when societal norms break down. We cannot forget about serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer and Andrei Chikatilo. Their acts of cannibalism were part of violent crimes driven by psychological disorders. These actions are universally condemned as morally wrong, showing how cannibalism can be a tool of domination rather than a matter of survival. In the 20th century, cannibalism also occurred during famines and political turmoil in China. During the Cultural Revolution, some instances of cannibalism were acts of hatred against perceived enemies, while others were misguided attempts at medicine. These events show how cannibalism can be intertwined with political violence and cultural beliefs, complicating moral evaluations. From an ethical standpoint, cannibalism challenges universal moral norms. It involves violating bodily integrity and respect for human life. However, moral relativism recognizes that in some cultures or extreme situations, cannibalism has different meanings. For instance, some indigenous cultures practiced ritual cannibalism as part of spiritual beliefs, contrasting sharply with Western moral views. Practical reflections on this topic include the importance of context in judging cannibalism, the tension between universal human rights and cultural relativism, and how extreme conditions can alter moral decision-making. Understanding these famous cases helps us appreciate the complexity of human morality when faced with life-and-death situations.